Hey guys, welcome to Brick System Brothers. My name's Nathan Masters, and today I'm going to show you my Blacktron display piece. So this project has been about a year in the making. Back when I placed a order from the Pick-a-Brick wall and got a large supply of the transparent bright green 1x2 bricks, and I think the part number on these is the 3065. These are kind of the basis for the green part of the logo, the Blacktron B logo. The rest of the logo is an octagon shape, and I kind of knew this is what I wanted to use these for when I bought them. But like I said, about a year ago is when I got those, and just hadn't sat down to put this together, really thought about how I wanted to approach it until within the last couple weeks is when I did sit down to build this. So the logo itself took the form of kind of this 3D scape build, and it didn't start that way. At first it was just going to be a kind of brick built wall, one flat surface, and I was gonna use these 1x2 45 degree slope side by side. There's actually a gap if you do that. I wasn't sure how I was going to accomplish that, but as I messed around with these on the building area, I realized I could get a pretty cool effect if I let things kind of protrude in this 3D space. So that ended up being this 4-layer object. The front layer is the transparent bricks that make the green B. The layer behind that is the inner black, so the inner octagon, the smallest one, and then that has a small white border, and there's 2 interruptions in the border. The first one is at the lower right corner of the letter. It's actually got a rounded. Here's just the plain logo for comparison, and you can see it's got that rounded shape there. The actual letter B matches the curvature of that protrusion, but going with the 1x2 bricks, I wasn't able to create that curvature. So I added the curved bricks for the black border, and I let that kind of follow the shape of the brick built letter. And then on the other side, there is kind of this tail that goes off from the other corner of the letter B. And what I ended up doing with this is I let this go all the way back through and actually cut the white border in that spot. When you're looking at the plain logo from the front, the logo kind of has that cut through it, so I wanted to maintain that in the 3D space and made that work with a couple of inverted slopes. So the white border octagon is this 3rd layer back here. It's only 1 brick thick, and it's about 2 studs wide all the way around. I do have a plate offset to achieve that in terms of how much higher this slope starts than this one here. So adding a plate to that. And then the very back layer is 2 studs thick all the way around, and that is just another back to the black base color. So just in terms of overall sizing and scaling, I for sure wanted to capture the proportions of the letter B, and anything smaller than this 3-4-3 arrangement started to detract from really getting those proportions right. Even up this close, you can kind of see where some things are off, but as a display piece, it's going to be up on a wall or in a corner. Once you get a little further away from this, it really starts to scale a little bit better. So I feel like that was kind of the starting point, was the lettering with the bricks here, and then from there it was just a matter of scaling the border around it. 2 other things I'll mention with the specific arrangement here. They're related. The first one is the decision to cut the bottom of the octagon. This was made for visual purposes and also for stability. So visually, with the placement of the letter B in this octagon, if this were to continue down the same amount that it continues up, there's actually a very large empty black space here. I think it's just related to the way that things scaled out with the brick built as opposed to the actual logo. So that looked wrong to have the full octagon on the bottom side. And then the stability comes in just thinking about how this is going to be displayed. Usually you're going to want to look at the front of it, so it's got to set on kind of the 5 wide. By the time you get to the base, it's only 4 studs wide. So I did want a little bit of extra room down there at the bottom to help with the support. So that kind of came together nicely, but it still wasn't quite enough because these green bricks are out in front of the center of gravity a little bit, and I think that's enough weight, especially on this carpet surface, as I'm finding right now, that without additional help on either side, this has a tendency to just want to fall flat on its face. On a harder surface, I think you could get it to go just without those little feet, but by putting on these little feet, that helps with the stability quite a bit, and it also gives you a chance to put a little display minifigs on there. So there's a little 1x2 area of studs, and it's the perfect size for a Blacktron fig. So that is the result. Maybe 12 hours of work, just the design, about 8 hours of design work, and then 4 to create some instructions that are on Rebrickable if you'd like to build this yourself. The other thing that's nice about this particular construction is the use of 1x2 bricks, a very common brick in a lot of different colors. So if you're not sold on the transparent green, it's pretty easy to build it in lime green 1x2 bricks, the bright, I call it apple green, or you could even go with regular green. I think regular green's a little too dark if you want to get that color match close, but it is an option. Personally, the transparent light bright green I think is a good color match, and it also gives me an option to do something with display. And this isn't like a final edition of anything, but the way that I built the back leaves the open space to where some form of lighting system could allow the letter B to be illuminated. So a very rudimentary example with just my cell phone screen, but kind of gives you the idea of what is possible here. There's a little bit of structural components, and I think to actually make it look good as an illuminated display piece, it'd have to be a series of smaller LEDs in the perimeter. But most of this is open backing to allow some kind of lighting system here. Again, instructions are available on Rebrickable at no cost, so check that out if you are curious about the build at all. Even if you don't have those transparent bright green bricks, if you do have some lime or green, you could still put this logo together. The rest of it's pretty common elements, slopes and bricks. There's a couple specialty ones in the feet, but nothing that can't be bought for less than $1 on Bricklink, I think. It's all non-rare items in this Blacktron logo. And at some point, I might have this lit up a little bit better than just having my cell phone behind there, but I did want to show a possibility of what that could look like, kind of at this just having built it stage and not really much more than the bricks at this point. Option is there to light it up. Otherwise, change that color out. Doesn't even have to be Blacktron colors. You could make it any other color too. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time on Brick System Brothers.